Hi, I'm Alane Freund. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in California and an international consultant on high sensitivity. I'm here today with my friend and colleague, also an international consultant on high sensitivity, Jacquelyn Strickland. Thank you for being here, Jacquelyn.
Thank you, Alane. It's lovely to see you again.
I invited Jacquelyn today because we have a theme, and our theme is an area in which Jacquelyn is particularly an expert, and that is on being extroverts. And one of the reasons of course, I wanted Jacquelyn to come on because she's one of my mentors and she just knows so much about the trait of high sensitivity. But
thank you.
the other reason is I've been hearing from highly sensitive extroverts that it's hard to find their community and feeling isolated and alone in among highly sensitive people. You know, we're the 20% of the population that processes things deeply, can really become easily overwhelmed or overstimulated, has strong emotional responses, a lot of empathy, and we notice every little thing. But it turns out that only 70% of us are introverts and 30% are extroverts. And Jacquelyn, a little birdie told me you're one of the 30%.
Yes, I am.
So tell us a little bit about your experience of that and how you help HSPs.
Yeah, well, I help HSPs by developing a really grounded sense of self. And I don't think we HSP sensitive extroverts really need to worry so much about finding our sensitive extrovert community, because I think it's more important to find an HSP community, because we can blend in so well with the sensitive extrovert and the sensitive extroverts. I think we're more similar than the other 80% of extroverts who are not who don't possess the trait, and the introverts who don't possess the trait.
Tell us about the 5 different temperaments around sensitivity, extroversion, and introversion, would you?
Okay, sure. Yeah, when we're talking about introversion and extroversion, I think it's incredibly important to discern between 5 different, I call them temperaments. So there's the introvert, there's the sensitive introvert, there's the extrovert, and then there's the sensitive extrovert, and then we throw in that last one, the ambivert. So I'd love to show a slide and a graph of that in our webinar coming up, and how that plays out with the numbers of we sensitive extroverts are 420 million in the world. So
wow. So it seems like you're out there, but I'm just wondering if sometimes sensitive extroverts are hard to recognize. Are they? Say something about that.
I think the younger you are as a sensitive extrovert, the more you might appear to be extroverted in general. That's certainly true for me in my 20s. I wasn't very discerning about my friendships and who nurtured me and who didn't. I just didn't have that kind of awareness. So I think the more mature we get, the more we are discerning about where we show up, how we show up. We're more grounded in our sense of self, so we can appear to be more fit into the DOES criteria for highly sensitive people than when we were younger.
That makes sense. And I know I saw some research on extroverts in general. It didn't distinguish sensitivity or not. And it said that extroverts are more likely than introverts to become burned out and to need downtime. What do you think about that?
You know, again, just like you say, there's so many hues of and variations of orchids in the world. I think there's so many variations of all those 5 temperaments that we just talked about. So again, I think it's self-care. We both talked about getting wired and tired. You're an sensitive introvert, I'm a sensitive extrovert. We share that in common. It just manifests differently at different times. So
Right. But I know I'm really inclined, we were joking before we started recording that I don't really necessarily even need to be around people much at all, because that's how much of an introvert I am. And so I am more likely to spend a lot of time alone. I'm drawn to it. I want to do it. And I noticed that some of the sensitive extroverts in my life are more likely to pursue social interaction. And sometimes it's harder for them to avoid becoming wired and tired.
You know, I just want to comment on 2 observations. One, you say you just don't like people, you spend a lot of time alone. Well, I really like most people, especially, now that I'm discerning about who I want to spend time with, what kind of party it is, who's going to be there, who did they vote for, all that. as a sensitive extrovert who is very mature now in her age, I spend a lot of time alone, but I also do seek out novel situations when I've been alone so long and I start feeling uninspired, lethargic. And often those novel activities might involve me going alone to watch a sunset, might involve me alone going to a thrift store.
I know for me, I feel really, really driven to try to reach HSPs. I have this passion and calling that I know you share to
Yes.
help other highly sensitive people. I would like to be in a hut outside, in a remote cabin in Colorado,
Yeah.
in your
And as
county.
a sensitive extrovert, I must let you know that I do go to remote cabins probably 3 or 4 times a year. And I
It's
get
just good self-care.
greatly renewed there.
That comes from your wisdom and your experience and knowledge of how to be practicing appropriate self-care. We're just going to continue this conversation on June 5th. We'll have an hour and 15 minutes and just share a little bit of our own experience, strength, and hope with you about what it's like to live in this world built by and for the 80% when you have the trait of high sensitivity.
Yay.
So Are You Highly Sensitive Live? It's areyouhighlysensitive.com. Thanks again, Jacquelyn. I can't wait for our longer conversation.
Okay, lovely to see you. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
You too.
Bye-bye.